A short Saturday Brexit statement and what's going on in Germany at the moment. That's what I want to talk about in this video. I'm Mark, greetings from Germany and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell and the notifications so you won't miss my new Brexit videos in the future. I'm publishing this video on a Saturday, and of course you're used to have a Brexit video on Saturdays, so I definitely will give you a quick Brexit statement here in the beginning. But at the moment, because of the situation we're in, there's only one thing I can say about Brexit at the moment. That is, what is the only reasonable solution now for Brexit? And that, for both sides, is to extend the transition period, to continue the negotiations for a trade and security deal later. Because at the moment, because of the situation we're in, there's no way to have proper negotiations as they are supposed to be. I know that some of my viewers say they anyway want a WTO Brexit, but this is not a situation to rush into things. Just let us do it properly. And so I hope the governments on both sides will decide to have an extension and be really reasonable in a situation like this. And that directly leads me to the situation we have in Germany at the moment with the coronavirus or COVID-19. As you see, I named it, and so I will never expect this video to be monetized, so I don't bother, because I do want to state some facts here. There's a lot going on, and that's what I want to start with anyway. A lot of fake news going on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram and on YouTube. And that's why I, right in the beginning, really want to ask any of my viewers, wherever you are, please just rely on the official sources. Look at the sources of your government. If you're in Germany, for example, also on your state governments and your local governments. They publish official information daily at the moment. I'm quite sure that's the case everywhere, and so please rely on these informations and not what you might hear on Facebook and so on about possible ways of healing and what not I've seen there. So please go to the official sources and get your information there. As you probably know, I'm a politician myself. I'm holding a seat in my local borough council, and of course I do know where to get all the information without searching for a very long time. That's why I'm doing this video as well for my German viewers, with all the information they need, with the links they need. But for you, I just want to explain that where I am at the moment in North Rhine-Westphalia and in Münster, we have quite a high number of infections, and I would just want to explain how we deal with that at the moment and what is important about the way to stick to what our government says there. First of all, I probably need to mention for you, we have a federal system in Germany, so we have a federal government, but we also do have states with state governments, and of course we have local governments as the way you know it. In Germany, in the different states, we have different rates of infections, so that's important too. In Hamburg, for example, it's about 32 people out of 100,000 are infected. In Thuringia, it's only 7 out of 100,000. And so in these different states, the measures to be taken are different at the moment as well. Where I'm from, North Rhine-Westphalia, we already have more than 5,000 infected. In my hometown, we're at about 200 infected that are on record. In Germany, the tests are used strategic for people we know had contact with infected people, because the capacity of the test labs are not high enough to test everyone who gets a cough. I mean, you can hear it at the moment. I don't sound very healthy at the moment myself. I do have a cough and a little bit of a... I have no idea what to call that in English. I never talked about too many medicinal things in English, but my nose is shut. But I do feel well. I don't have fever or anything, so the good thing I can do is stay home. And that's the major part of what we're doing here in Germany. Unfortunately, we do have people who are my age or younger, if I get infected, I don't care, it's not dangerous for me. I'm not one of the vulnerable people, I'm not of a high risk group, so if I would be infected or if I get infected, I probably won't have much more than I have right now, and nothing else would happen. But that's not the point of all the measures we take. The point is that we need to protect the vulnerable people, the people with high risks of getting serious illnesses from this virus, and to flatten the curve. Flatten the curve means we will have a lot of sick people, but we have to reduce the infection rate to a level where our hospital and our health system can deal with it. We have a very high rate of intensive care units in Germany. We have about 34 intensive care units per 100,000 people. That is a very high number in Europe, and still we have to get more at the moment, and we have to make sure that we always have intensive care units available if we need them for people who get really sick with this virus. And so we have to make sure we don't have too many people at the same time that are getting that sick, and that's why we take all the measures at the moment I'm going to present to you in this video. And so that makes it even harder for me to bear with these people who are that egoistic, who are saying, oh, I don't care, I won't get that sick, so why bother? And they are gathering in parks, in groups, and having parties and stuff like that. And that's so unreasonable. And we really can only say, stay at home. But they don't care. And that's a really bad thing. They also say, nobody cares about the flu that much. We have several hundred deaths in a few months every year from a flu. What's the difference to this corona thing? And there is a big difference. First of all, the coronavirus is much more contagious than the flu virus. The second thing is we have no vaccine for the coronavirus. We do have a vaccine for the flu virus, and a lot of people are vaccinated every year for the flu, but we can't vaccinate anyone for coronavirus so far. Of course it will come, but we don't have it now. And so it's really irresponsible and egoistic to behave like a lot of people do still at the moment here. We had a poll where 25% of the people, and unfortunately mostly younger ones, said it's just panic, it's not that bad, I don't care, why bother? And I can really say to these 25%, get your head out of the sand and have a look around and think about your family, especially your grandparents, for example. You are the ones who endanger people like them. And because of these people, we are taking more serious measures now in my area. In my state, every shop is closed except supermarkets, chemists, doctors, and so on, of course. But every non-essential shop is closed. You can't buy clothes at the moment, you can't buy shoes, you can't buy perfume, whatever. They are all closed. And in my hometown, because people are irresponsible, all restaurants are closed all days. In my state, we weren't that quick there, but in my hometown, the local government decided to close them completely, and not just after 1500. All pubs are closed, all bars are closed, all clubs are closed, all cultural buildings are closed. We have no museum, no zoos. All religious groups and churches don't have services. So there is no church service at the moment in my state and in my hometown. And that all has one good reason. What we need to do is social distancing. That's the only reason why all these measures have been taken. Social distancing is to protect the older and already sick people from that virus and to flatten that curve I explained earlier. But people have to do it. And we still have people who are irresponsible. We still have people who are stockpiling, and it's absolutely unnecessary to stockpile. The shops, and I mean the supermarkets, are refilled regularly. Our storage units are filled. Everything is there. There's no lack of anything if the people would stop stockpiling. You can get whatever you need if no one stockpiles. Every 2 days the supermarkets will be restocked, so don't. And for my viewers in the UK, I hope you don't start like we did that in Germany with stockpiling toilet paper like hell. I don't know for how many years they want to use that stuff, because it seems they believe they're getting quarantined for 14 years instead of 14 days in case they catch the virus. Another thing is, of course, if you are tested positive, you will be put in quarantine if you don't need the hospital, and most of the people indeed don't need the hospital. But you will be quarantined at home, and our health service is watching you, that you stay at home. But for everybody else, it also means if you don't know that you've been infected, if you don't know if you ever had contact, stay at home. That is the way you can protect the ones who need our protection. I'm at home for about a week now. The only 3 reasons to leave your home are work. If you are in a job that can't make it possible that you have a home office or that can't give you holidays at the moment, so you can stay home. Or you're in an essential job, of course, like nurses, policemen, fire brigades and so on. And of course another reason to leave your house is to go shopping, and I mean essential food shopping, not shopping for whatever. We really have the case at the moment that our shops are closed and people are actually still driving somewhere else to another state or to another country even, where the shops are open. How stupid can one be? And there we're back at egoism I mentioned before. So if you are able to, and you don't have to work, for example, you can work from home, stay at home. I can't repeat that often enough. Of course, no one needs to panic in this situation. Our governments will deal with that as far as they can, but they need our help. And they need our help in form of our behavior. We have to behave reasonably. So I will stay at home, of course. I will go shopping with taking all the precautions, keep a distance of 2 meters from other people, wash my hands and everything else, and the rest of the time I'm staying home. It is boring, I know that, because you can't do any reasonable work. in your spare time you have next to your home office, of course that you can do, but and you have to do that if you are able to do that. But in your spare time it will get boring, because there's only so much Netflix and Amazon you can watch, and so many computer games you can play. I know some people love that, so congratulations, I don't. I get bored from that. But still, I'm staying home. I have limited my social contacts at the moment to 0. We have no political meetings at the moment in person. Now we have a lot of email traffic at the moment, but we have no meetings in person. We have no preparational meetings for a session or anything. We do it all via email. We would have our next session in the end of April. At the moment we don't know if we will meet then. We will see how everything develops, but we are reasonable and we are staying home as much as we can. And so for you, please do the same, because I have to repeat that. Social distancing is what at the moment does protect elderly people and vulnerable people. So please do it. If you are not vulnerable, you won't get very sick if you get it, but you are endangering others if you don't stay at home as much as you can. So please do. And we are close to a curfew or complete lockdown because of these people who don't. We already closed our borders, our German borders, to France, to Switzerland and to Austria. Of course, commuters still can pass. The traffic for lorries who are with goods still can pass. Our federal police is responsible for the borders there. And of course, in a case like this, there are 27 sovereign countries who can decide to close their borders without the permission of the EU, but we are at the moment have the decision of the EU as a whole to close the outer borders of the EU, and the sovereign decision of countries inside the EU to close their borders between the member states or member countries as a protective matter. And it is possible, and they did that. I would have hoped for a little bit more coordination between the member countries, but it's the first time the EU has to deal with something like that, and so I can understand why there's a little bit of improvisation there. I didn't want to make a video about the coronavirus, and I do not really intend to make another one, But I really wanted to bring the statements I brought today because too many people are, and I know I'm repeating myself, irresponsibly behaving at the moment. And I hope when you've seen this, you already behave responsibly and are at home as much as you can. And if you don't, please think again and please do that. It's quite boring to stay at home, so I put another video in my end screen and I hope to see you there. Viel Spaß und bis bald.